Welcome back to a very new video. But if you're new here, my name is Katja and on this channel I talk mostly about K-pop, books, language studies, and about the last one I want to talk about today. But first up, a small FYI. One of my cheeks is redder than the other one. Maybe post-editing production it's not as bad, but I just wanted to point it out because I can clearly see on screen it's very red. It's nothing to worry about. It's a small allergic reaction and sometimes it unfortunately hits my face. But I don't want to put off filming this video because I am so excited to share about my language goals and plans for 2024. For this year, I set a total of 4 goals. Normally I do 5, but I was like, I want to stay comfortable, very easy, manageable, while at the same time also pushing my limits when it comes down to learning languages. So for some reason, it ended up being 4 goals and I think it's perfect for this year. So first up, I want to say that Korean is gonna be my focus language this year. I am so excited because I wanted to get into this language for the past 2 years, but unfortunately due to things happening in my life, it didn't work out to put my full intention into Korean, and I had to prioritize most of the time German because I was working in that language or I was traveling a lot through Germany, so it didn't make sense to focus as much on Korean as that I wanted to. But for this year, I know my traveling is gonna be a bit different than what I normally would do, and I was like, this is the perfect year to really prioritize Korean, and I'm just so excited about it. So considering Korean, the things that I want to do for this year is to get to level 2 and 3 with Talk to Me in Korean. So the thing is, I know there are so many possible ways that you can go on with Korean and studying it. And to be honest, I don't personally think that Talk to Me in Korean is gonna be beneficial if you want to go to the country and work there. But the thing is, that's not what I want to do. I just want to be able to understand, and if I ever travel to Korea, I can make do with the Korean knowledge that I do have, but it's not for work or study purposes that I want to study the language. So Talk to Me in Korean is actually the perfect way because it's so nice how they explain things. It's very playful, but at the same time you learn a lot. However, when it comes down to word count, it's a little bit less, so that's why I'm also saying if you want to work in the country, you should definitely go about finding different material. But as of right now and my goals and the things that I want to do in the future, Talk to Me in Korean is the best way, especially because I love their classes. I love all the additional material that they put out on the website. It is, however, nowadays a paid subscription, which is fine. I paid it. I actually got a code, so I got 50% off for an entire year. And yeah, I hope you can tell that I'm super excited because that's the only thing, the word that pops up into my mind when I say that I'm gonna study more Korean, that I am excited. And I've been studying now for the past few weeks with Talk to Me in Korean and I love it. I did it in the past as well, but as of right now I am reviewing. So when it comes down to my plans with Korean for this entire year, I first up did only the first half year that I put in to plan. I will see what I'm gonna do for the second half, and I'm probably gonna videotape that as well. Oh, videotape that. That's such an old school word, but you probably get what I mean. So for the first quarter of the year, so from January to March, I thought it would be best if I'm gonna review level 1. So that's what I'm doing currently. Then when it comes down to the second quarter of the year, so April, May, June, yes, those 3 months, I want to get into level 2. And then we're gonna see what we're gonna do in the last 6 months of the year. Hopefully somewhere I'm gonna start level 3 as well, but I also want to make time to review level 2 after I'm done with level 2, because I think it's so important to study a language not only by just listening to the classes, write down notes. No, I also think it's important to go back into everything that you learned and explore it even a little bit more. Maybe work on my pronunciation. Oh, it's so funny that I actually struggle with that exact word. But yeah, there are so many things that you can improve even though you just followed those classes. So we'll see what we're gonna do for the second half of the year. But these are so far my plans when it comes down to Korean. The second goal that I set for myself this year is to get B2 level in German. So here's the thing. I don't know if that's gonna work out. Here is where I'm actually pushing my limits, because to get to B2 level is a lot. And I am traveling less to Germany this year than what I was expecting to. I learn a language very well by immersing myself in the language. So for example, going on holiday over there, going there for my travels and whatnot. But for some reason it's quite impossible for me to do that this year, which is very unfortunate, because that means that I have less time to actually converse in the language. So I do have to find a way to be able to do that. But at the same time, what I can do, like for the upcoming months, is reading more in German, getting my word count up, which is so important, especially if you want to converse in the language. So I'm gonna do that, especially in the first half year. And in the second half year, I know in July I'm gonna travel to Germany. So in preparation of that trip, I want to prepare myself different conversations that I possibly can have on the trip. That is something that actually works out for me a lot. It helps out with so many things. So that's one of the things that I want to do for that trip. And I really hope, fingers crossed, that I can go back to Berlin in autumn. I don't know if it's possible, but my friend invited me to come and stay with her in Berlin, and I really want to. So fingers crossed that I can go. And yeah, she's German, so that's lovely. So I can converse in German, and she is honestly an excellent teacher as well. How else I'm gonna go about the language, I don't know yet. I just go with the flow and see where I can improve during the year rather than have a set plan with it. But I do think, because of the trips that I have in the future, it is already planned, because I can see immediately where I can improve with my language skills. Okay, so what is the third thing that I want to do for this year? I almost forgot. Oh yeah, get French to level A2. So why is this a goal of mine? Because last year I set a goal of mine to study Italian. But during that year I actually found out that French and Italian have a lot of things in common. However, I prefer French over Italian, and I was not expecting that about myself, because I really like how Italian sounds. I love Italian food. Yes, I do believe that's a good reason to study a language. But I just love the sentence structure of French way better than Italian. Which makes sense, because my native language, Dutch and French, they have a lot in common. Which is not too crazy, because the Dutch language is influenced by the French language back in the day, like centuries ago, when the trade started happening globally. There were even French schools in the Netherlands. So of course, a lot of words in the Dutch language is actually influenced by the French. And I think that's super cool. And that's probably one of the reasons why French feels more natural to me. Also, one of the other reasons why I want to study French is because of work purposes. Um, I need this in the future actually kind of heavily. And also, just a personal thing. I really want to travel back to France. I mean, I was there last year, but I was only passing through the country. But somewhere in the future, probably in 2025 or in autumn 2024, so this year, I would like to travel back to Paris, give it another shot, because the first time around when I was in Paris, I was like, some parts I love, some other parts I don't, and I really would like to fall in love with that city because it's also such an easy train ride from the Netherlands to go there. And also there are some cultural aspects that I love about the French. So yeah, why not study French, right? So this language is definitely just for fun, but most of the languages that I study are very much for fun, like Korean and also, well, German does also have another side. Yes, I'm studying it for fun, but it's also very beneficial for me and my work because yeah, I got more work thanks to me being able to speak German. Little fun fact, a lot of Dutch people, even though we are sharing a border with Germany, for some reason, a lot of Dutch people are not as good in speaking German as our parents, for example. And that's because the importance of English got so big that the need of speaking German, it has gone less significantly over the past few years, which makes me sad because I love how delicate of a language German is, and even though that's one of the reasons why I struggle so much with that language, I do love it. Okay, so getting back to French, how am I gonna study it? Here's the thing, I'm so annoyed that there are no fun French books. Maybe there are, like learning wise. Maybe there are, but they are probably from another language to French, because from Dutch to French, I don't know. I think they are so boring, or they are not what I need, because one thing that opened my eyes when I started studying Korean, especially with Talk to Me in Korean, is that learning a language can be so much fun. It can be so playful. I love their podcast. So I definitely have to find myself a way how I can be able to learn French. As of right now, I'm gonna use Memrise. And I'm not gonna use Memrise the way how they use it. I am just gonna go to their list of words and check where I am with my level of French, because I do want to get to A2. But I do think that I'm already pretty far. My knowledge of the French language is kind of scattered. And the reason why is because for a blue one day, I actually lived in Paris. It was a very short time, but I did live in Paris. So I picked up a lot of phrases and a lot of words and a lot of knowledge. But it's so scattered, that knowledge in my brain, that I'm like, I don't know where I'm at my current level. I probably am somewhere already between A1 and A2, but I have to figure it out and also get better in conversing in the language and also make more sentences. And I of course want to get my word count up. So first up, I'm gonna start with the word count thanks to Memrise, and then I'm gonna work my way into sentences. But I do think, however, that's gonna happen in the second half of the year. And first I'm gonna focus on words, and then we'll see how I'm gonna go about it by the second half of the year. I do have to go to the south of Europe in the future. So maybe I can find some cool learning books in French in France. France. Yes. It was a long day. The fourth and the last language goal that I have for this year is simply start with Japanese. So here's the thing. I actually found such cool language books to study Japanese. It actually drove me insane while I was looking for French books, because I was like, I don't want to study Japanese by a book. But for some reason I did find books for Japanese. Well, I'm like, it's a bit annoying, but yeah, I do want to start with Japanese, but the thing is, I just don't want to get far with it. I just want to see the differences between Korean and Japanese. I just want to gain some knowledge about the language itself, but I don't want to speak it. I don't care about, I don't know, getting word count in. No, I wouldn't care about that. It's really about just exploring that language rather than actually studying it, if that makes sense. So yeah, me saying start learning Japanese is maybe wrongly phrased, and I'm sorry about that. I just want to explore it, see the differences in so many Asian languages, what makes Japanese so different from certain languages, or what makes it the exact same. And one of the things I think personally about Japanese is that it's heavily influenced by the Dutch language. So there are some words in Japanese that are from the Dutch, but a lot of those words don't exist anymore in my native language, but they are living forth in the Japanese language. And I personally think that's so incredibly cool. Because of that, I just want to experiment with that language. What are certain boundaries of languages? Why is this happening over here? Why is it happening over there? I'm just so fascinated by how languages are working, and the history behind it as well. However, how I actually came about that I wanted to study Japanese is because I really like the Japanese music of Stray Kids and Le Sserafim. Of course, they have Japanese members, and Stray Kids, they love to go to Japan also for their travels. And I like, especially Stray Kids, their Japanese music. I personally think that's so incredibly good, like Battleground, Circus, Sociopath. Those are such strong songs, and also the Japanese music industry in general. I love that music. So it's just me exploring a language in a very playful way, and we're just gonna see where we're gonna be at by the end of the year. But I think that's also really important. Yes, studying a language can have a very practical reason, like work, or for studying, or because you want to travel to that country in the future. But sometimes I just like that it can open your mind to so many other things. Even though that's also one of the fun things, well, what I found personally out while studying languages is, yes, sometimes the unique word count in my own vocab in my native language has gone down actually quite a bit, because me studying different languages and I have to retain so many different words in different languages. But at the same time, it's also opening up so many doors in my brain to different sentence structures I can use in my native language, or my approach in general in life. And it definitely had an impact in how I go about around life, which I think is such an incredible thing to do. And it also reminds myself about the fact that learning a language is never a waste. It's one of the only skills probably in life that even if you know a little, you will get so incredibly far. So yeah, these are my 4 language goals for this year, and also some of the plans that I have with it. I hoped you liked it, and I am very curious about your vision about language studying. So let me know in the comments down below. And as of right now, I hope if you're also studying languages this year, even if it's just one or multiple, I hope you're gonna have fun. And yeah, hopefully you're also gonna watch my other videos. I will also mention it during vlogs when I'm studying it. So I hope to see you there. And for now, I wish you a good day and bye!